Hello and welcome to a brand new free English course. The PDF for this course is also available for you to download. The links are under this video in the description. You can also listen to this as a podcast, and I would obviously recommend that you listen to this over and over again to really learn each word. Let's go. Now in this first section, I will say the words and you will repeat after me. Let's go. Arise, arose, arisen. Now you. Awake, awoke, awoken. Be, was, were, been. Bear, bore, born. Beat, beat, beaten. Become, became, become. Begin, began, begun. Bend, bent, bent. Bet, bet, bet. Bid, bid, bid. Bind, bound, bound. Bite, bit, bitten. Bleed, bled, bled. Blow, blew, blown. Break, broke, broken. Breed, bred, bred. Bring, brought, brought. Broadcast, broadcast, broadcast. Build, built, built. Burn, burned or burnt, burned or burnt. If you spell burnt with ed, that's more American English, and if you spell it with a T at the end, that's more British English. Next word. Burst, burst, burst. Buy, bought, bought. Cast, cast, cast. Catch, caught, caught. Choose, chose, chosen. Cleave, cleaved, cloven. Cling, clung, clung. Clothe, closed, closed. Come, came, come. Cost, cost, cost. Creep, crept, crept. Cut, cut, cut. Deal, dealt, dealt. Dig, dug, dug. Do, did, done. Dive, dove or dived, dived. Dove is more American English and dived is more British English. Next word. Draw, drew, drawn. Dream, dreamed or dreamt, dreamed or dreamt. drink, drank, drunk. Drive, drove, driven. Dwell, dwelt or dwelt, dwelt or dwelled. Eat, ate, eaten. Fall, fell, fallen. Feed, fed, fed. Feel, felt, felt. Fight, fought, fought. Find, found, found. Fit, fit or fitted, fit or fitted again. Flee, fled, fled. Fling, flung, flung. Fly, flew, flown. Forbid, forbade or forbade, forbid or forbidden. Forget, forgot, forgotten. Freeze, froze, frozen. Get, got, gotten or got. Give, gave, given. Go, went, gone. Grow, grew, grown. Hang, hung, hung. Have, had, had. Hear, heard, heard. Hide, hid, hidden. Hit, hit, hit. Hold, held, held. Hurt, hurt, hurt. Keep, kept, kept. Kneel, kneeled or knelt, kneeled or knelt. Know, knew, known. Lay, laid, laid. Lead, led, led. Lean, leaned or lent, leaned or lent again. Leap, leaped or leapt, and again leaped or leapt. Learn, learned or learned with a T, and again learned or learnt. Leave, left, left. Lend, lent, lent. Let, let. Lie, lay, lain. Light, lit or lighted, and again lit or lighted. lose, lost, lost. Make, made, made. Mean, meant, meant. Meet, met, met. Mow, mowed, mown. Pay, paid, paid. Plead, pleaded or pled, pleaded or pled. Prove, proved, proven or proved again. Put, put. Quit, quit, quit. Read, read, read. Ride, rode, ridden. Ring, rang, rung. Rise, rose, risen. Run, ran, run. Say, said, said. See, saw, seen. Seek, sought, sought. Sell, sold, sold. Send, sent, sent. Set, set, set. Shake, shook, shaken. Shave, shaved, shaven. Shed, shed, shed. Shine, shined or shone, shined or shone. Shoot, shot, shot. Shut, shut, shut. Show, showed, shown. Shrink, shrank, shrunk. Sing, sang, sung. Sink, sank, sunk. Sit, sat, sat. Sleep, slept, slept. Slide, slid, slid. Sling, slung, slung. Slink, slunk, slunk. Slit, slit, slit. Smell, smelled or smelt with a T, and again smelled or smelt. Speak, spoke, spoken. Spell, spelled or spelled with a T, and again spelled or spelt. Spend, spent, spent. Spill, spilled or spilled with a T, and again spilled or spilt. Spin, spun, spun. spit, spit or spat, and again, spit or spat. Split, split, split. Spoil, spoiled with ed or spoiled with t, and the same again, spoiled or spoiled. Spread, spread, spread. Spring, sprang, sprung. Stand, stood, stood. Steal, stole, stolen. Stick, stuck, stuck. Sting, stung, stung. Stink, stank, stunk. Stride, strode, stridden. String, strung, strung. Strive, strove, striven. Swear, swore, sworn. Sweat, sweat or sweated, and again, sweat or sweated. Swell, swelled, swollen. Swim, swam, swum. Take, took, taken. Teach, taught, taught. Tear, tore, torn. Tell, told, told. Think, thought, thought. Throw, threw, thrown. Thrust, thrust, thrust. Tread, trot, trodden. Understand, understood, understood. Wake, woke, woken. Wear, wore, worn. Weave, wove, woven. Wed, wed or wedded, and again wed or wedded. Weep, wept, wept. Wet, wet or wetted, and again wet or wetted. Win, won, won. Wind, wound, wound. Ring, rung, rung. Write, wrote, written. Okay, now it's time to thank today's sponsor. The sponsor is myself, so if you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. You can also download the PDF and leave a little tip. That's much appreciated on buymeacoffee.com or ko-fi.com. I'm also on Patreon if you want to give monthly support. That would be even more appreciated. There's also a super thanks button that you might be able to see underneath this YouTube video. If you see it, you can click it and make a donation directly on YouTube. Alright, now I'll continue with the second part of this course. If you're not yet sure about the words, if you're not feeling confident, then watch the first part repeatedly until you feel confident. Just keep repeating the words until you feel like you can do it. Because now I'm going to ask you what the simple past version is, okay? So I'll give you the infinitive and I'll ask what the simple past version is. Let's get started. Now, what is the simple past version of arise? If you need more time, you can always pause this course and, think about the answer a little while longer, but I'll give you the answer right now because it's arose. What's the simple past form of awake? Awoke. And what's the simple past form of to be? There's two answers. Was or were. The next word is bear, to bear. What's the simple past version of to bear? Bore. The next word is beat. This is kind of a trick question because the answer is also beat. The next word is become. The answer is became. Next word is begin. And the simple past version is began. The next word is bend. And the simple past version is bent with a T at the end. The next word is bet, to bet. And the correct answer is the same word, to bet. Again, it's always bet. Next up, bid. And once again, it's the same word, bid. The next word is bind. And the simple past version is bound. Next up, bite. And the correct answer is bit. What's the simple past version of bleed? The correct answer is bled. The next word is to blow. And the simple past version is blew. The next word is to break. And the correct answer is broke. The next word is breed. And the simple past version is bred. Next up, we have bring. And the correct answer is brought. The next word is to broadcast. What's the simple past version of that? And the correct answer is to broadcast, the same word. Okay, now the word is build. And the simple past version is built with a T at the end. The next word is to burn. And there's two versions. So the American version is burned with ED and the British version is burnt with a T at the end. And what's the simple past of to burst? The correct answer is burst, the exact same word. What about the word to buy? The simple past version is bought. Next word is cast. And the simple past version is cast, same word. Next up, catch. And the answer is caught. Choose. The simple past version is chose with one O. The next word is cleave, to cleave. And the correct answer is cleaved with ED at the end. Next word is cling. And the simple past version is clung. The next word is to clothe. And the simple past version is clothed with a D at the end. To come. What's the simple past version of to come? Came. The next word is cost, to cost. And the simple past version is also cost, C-O-S-T, same word. Okay, next word, to creep. And the simple past version is crept. The next word is to cut. And the simple past version is also cut. All right, next up, the word to deal. Simple past version is dealt. Next up, dig. The simple past version is dug. All right, now a very important word, to do. What's the simple past version of to do? And the correct answer is did. Next up, the word to dive. There's two answers here, and the answers are dove or dived. The next word is to draw. And the simple past version is drew. The next word is to dream, and there's two answers here. Dreamed with ed or dreamt with t, and one is, again, one is American English and one is British English. The next word is to drink. And the simple past version is drank. Drive. Drove. Dwell. There's two versions here. Either dwelled with a t at the end or dwelled with an ed at the end. The next word is to eat. And the simple past version is ate. To fall. Fell. To feed. Fed. To feel. Felt. To fight. Fought. To find. Found. To fit. There's two versions here. Fit or fitted with an ed at the end. To flee. Fled. To fling. The simple past version is flung. To fly. The simple past version is flew. To forbid. There's two versions here for the simple past version. You can say forbade or forbade. And what's the simple past version of forget? Forgot. And what about to freeze? Froze. And what about to get? Got. The next word is to give. Gave. To go. Went. To grow. Grew. To hang. The simple past version is hung. To have. The simple past version is had. What about to hear? Heard with a d at the end. Hide. Hid. And what about the word to hit? It's the same word in the simple past version, hit. What about to hold? The simple past version is held. And what about to hurt? The simple past version is also hurt. The next word is to keep. The simple past version is kept. And what about to kneel? There's two versions here. You can say kneeled with an ed at the end or knelt with a t at the end. What about to know? The simple past version is knew. Next word, lay, to lay. The simple past version is laid. And what about to lead? The simple past version is led. Next up, we have the word lean. There's two options here. You can say leaned with an ed at the end or lent with a t at the end. Next up, the word leap. Again, there's two options here. You can say leaped with an ed or leapt with a t at the end. To learn. There's again two versions. You can say learned with an ed or learned with a t. And what about to leave? The simple past version is left. To lend. Lend with a t at the end. And to let. The simple past version is also let. To lie. The simple past version is lay. To light. The simple past version is lit or lighted with ed at the end. The next word is to lose. And the simple past version is lost. To make. The simple past version is made. To mean. The simple past version is meant. Next up, to meet. The correct answer is met. Next up, to mow. The correct answer is mowed. The next word is to pay. The simple past version is paid. Next up, to plead. There's two possible answers here. You can say pleaded or pled. The next word is to prove. And the simple past version is proved. Next up, the word to put. And the simple past version is also put. The next word is to quit. And the simple past version is also quit. Next up, we have read. The answer is read. To ride. Rode. To ring. Rang. To rise. Rose. To run. Ran. To say. Said. To see. Saw. To seek. Sought. To sell. Sold. To send. Sent with a T. Set. To set. The simple past version is also set. To shake. Shook. To shave. Shaved with a D at the end. What about to shed? The simple past version is also shed. To shine. There's two versions here, shined with a D at the end or shone. What about to shoot? Shot. What about to shut? The simple past version is also shut. To show. Showed. To shrink. Shrank. To sing. Sang. To sink. Sank. To sit. Sat. To sleep. Slept. To slide. Slid. To sling. Slung. To slink. Slunk. To slit. It's the same word, slit. To smell. There's two versions here, smelled with ed or smelled with a T at the end. What about to speak? Spoke. Spell. Spelled with ed or spelled with a T at the end. What about to spend? The simple past version is spend with a T. What about to spill? Spilled with a ed or spilled with a T at the end. What about to spin? Spun. To spit. There's two options here. You can say spit, the same word, or spat. To split. Split again. What about to spoil? Spoiled or spoiled with a T at the end. What about spread? Same again. Spread. What about to spring? Sprang. Next up, to stand. Stood. And what about to steal? Stole. Next word is to stick. Stuck. To sting. Stung. To stink. Stank. To stride. Strode. To string. Strung. To strive. Strove. To swear. Swore. To sweat. Sweat or sweated with an ed at the end. To swell. Swelled. To swim. Swam. To take. Took. To teach. Taught. To tear. Tore. To tell. Told. To think. Thought. To throw. Threw. To thrust. Thrust again. To tread. Trod. To understand. Understood. To wake. Woke. To wear. Wore. To weave. Wove. To wed. There's two versions here. You can say wed or wedded with an additional D and an ED at the end. What about to weep? Wept. To wet. You can say wet or wetted with a TED at the end. What about to win? Won. What about to wind? Wound. To wring. Wrung. To write. Wrote. Alright, next up, same principle, but I will ask you about the past participle. So I'll give you the infinitive, the simple past version, and you give me the third version. And if you have trouble with this, okay, you can watch the second part, the one that I just showed you repeatedly, until you know the infinitive and the simple past version, okay? Once you know the infinitive and the simple past version, you can, work on the past participle, which is following up right now. So, arise, arose, and what's the past participle? Arisen. Awake, awoke, and what's the third form? Awoken. Be, was, or were, and been. To bear, bore, and born. Beat. Beat again for the simple past version. And what's the past participle? Beaten. Become, became. And what's the past participle? Become. Begin, began. Begun. Bend, bend with a T. And what's the past participle? Bend with a T again. Now, if you need more time to think, you can obviously pause this video and think a little bit longer about each answer. What about to bet? The simple past version is also bet, and the third version is also bet. What about to bid? Same thing, it's always bid. The next word is to bind. Simple past is bound. What's past participle? Bound. Next is to bite, bit, and what's the third form? Bitten. Bleed, bled, and bled again. Blow, blew, blown. To break, broke, and broken. Breed, bred, and bread again. To bring, brought. And what's the past participle? Brought again. To broadcast, broadcast. And broadcast. Build, build with a T. And build with a T again. To burn, burned with a ED or burned with a T for the simple past version. And what's the third version? Burned or burned again. To burst is also burst in the simple past version. And what's the past participle? Burst again. Buy, bought, and bought again. Cast, cast, and cast again. Catch, caught, caught. Choose, chose, chosen. Cleave, cleaved, cloven. Cling, clung, clung. Clothe, clothed with a D, and clothed again. Come, came, come. Cost, cost, and cost again. Creep, crept, and crept once more. Cut, cut, cut. Deal, dealt, dealt. Dig, dug, and dug once more. Do, did, done. Dive, dove or dived, and dived. Draw, drew, drawn. Dream, dreamed or dreamt with a T, and dreamed or dreamt again. Drink, drank. Drunk, drive, drove. Driven, dwell, dwelt or dwelled with ED. And the same again, dwelt or dwelt. Eat, ate. Eaten, fall, fell. Fallen, feed, fed. Fed. Feel, felt. And felt again. Fight, fought. And fought again. Find, found, found. Fit, fit or fitted. Fit or fitted. Flee, fled. And fled again. Fling, flung. Flung, fly, flew. Flown. Forbid, forbade or forbade. Forbid or forbidden. Forget, forgot. Forgotten. Freeze, froze. Frozen. Get, got. Gotten or got. Give, gave. Given. Go, went. Gone. Grow, grew. Grown. Hang, hung. And the past participle is also hung. Have, had. Had. Hear, heard. Heard. Hide, hid. Hidden. Hit, hit. And hit again. Hold, held. Held. Heard, heard. Heard. Keep, kept. Kept. Kneel, kneeled or knelt with a T. And the same again, kneeled or knelt. Know, knew, and what's the past participle? Known. Lay, laid, and laid. Lead, led, led. Lean, leaned or lent with a T at the end. And what's the past participle? Same again, leaned or lent. Leap, leaped or leapt with a T. And what's the past participle here? Same again, leaped or leapt. Learn, learned or learned with a T. And again, learned or learned with a T. Leave, left. Left, lend, lent with a T. Lent, let, let. Let again, lie, lay. Lane, light, lit or lighted. Lit or lighted again. Lose, lost, and lost. Make, made. Made, mean, meant. Meant, meet, met. Met, mow, mowed. Moan, pay, paid. Paid, plead, pleaded or pled. Pleaded or pled again. Prove, proved. Proven or proved. Put, put. Put, quit, quit. And quit again. Read, read. Read, ride, rode. Ridden, ring, rang. Rung, rise, rose. Risen, run, ran. Run, say, said. Said, see, saw. Seen, seek, sought. And sought again. Sell, sold. Sold, send, sent. Sent, set, set. And set again. Shake, shook. Shaken, shave, shaved. Shaven, shed, shed. Shed, shine, shined or shone. Shined or shone. Shoot, shot. Shot, shut, shut. And shut once again. Show, showed. Shown, shrink, shrank. Shrunk, sing, sang. Sung, sink, sank. Sunk, sit, sat. Sat, sleep, slept. Slept, slide, slid. Slid, sling, slung. Slung, slink, slunk. Slunk, slit, slit. Slit, smell, smelled or smelled with a T. And smelled or smelled with a T again. Speak, spoke. Spoken, spell, spelled or spelled with a T. And spelled or spelled with a T again. Spend, spent. Spent, spill, spilled or spilled with a T. And spilled or spilled with a T again. Spin, spun. Spun, spit, spit or spat. Spit or spat again. Split, split. Split, spoil, spoiled or spoiled with a T. And what's the past participle? Spoiled or spoiled with a T again. Spread, spread. Spread, spring, sprang. Sprung, stand, stood. Stood, steal, stole. Stolen, stick, stuck, stuck, sting, stung, and stung again, stink, stank, stunk, stride, strode, stridden, string, strung, strung, strive, strove, striven, swear, swore, sworn, sweat, sweat or sweated, sweat or sweated again, swell, swelled, swollen, swim, swam, swum, take, took, taken, teach, taught, and taught, tear, tore, torn, tell, told, and told again, think, thought, thought, throw, through, thrown, thrust, thrust, and thrust again, tread, trod, trodden, understand, understood, understood again, wake, woke, woken, wear, wore, worn, weave, wove, woven, wed, wed or wedded, and wed or wedded again, weep, wept, and wept again, wet, wet or wetted, and wet or wetted again, win, won, and won, wind, wound, and wound again, ring, rung, and rung again, write, wrote, and written. Okay, now I'll ask you again, but this time I'll only give you the infinitive, and I will ask you about the simple past version and the past participle version. Again, if you're not clear on the simple past version or the past participle version, watch the previous chapters of this free English course, watch them over and over until you're confident, and then continue with the next part. Here we go. Arise, arose, arisen, awake, awoke, awoken, be, what's the simple past? Was or were, and the past participle is been. To bear, bore, born, to beat, beat, beaten, to become, became, become, to begin, began, begun, to bend, bent, bent, to bet, 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 to bid, bid and bid again, to bind, bound, bound, to bite, bit, bitten, to bleed, bled and bled again, to blow, blew and blown, to break, broke and broken, to breed, bred and bred again, to bring, brought, brought, to broadcast, broadcast and broadcast again, to build, built and built again, to burn, burned or burned and burned and burned again, burst, burst and burst again, buy, bought, bought, cast, 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 catch, caught, caught, choose. Chose and chosen, to cleave. Cleaved and cloven, to cling. Clung, clung, to clothe. Clothed, clothed, to come. Came, come, to cost. Cost, cost, to creep. Crept, crept, to cut. Cut, cut, to deal. Dealt, dealt, to dig. Dug and dug again, to do. Did and done, to dive. Dove or dived and dived, to draw. Drew, drawn, to dream. Dreamed with a D or dreamt with a T, and again dreamed or dreamt, to drink. Drank, drunk, to drive. Drove, driven, to dwell. Dwelt or dwelt with ed, and the same again, dwelt or dwelt, to eat. Ate, eaten, to fall. Fell, fallen, to feed. Fed, fed, to feel. Felt, felt, to fight. Fought, fought, to find. Found, found, to fit. Fit or fitted and fit or fitted again, to flee. Fled, fled, to fling. Flung, flung, to fly. Flew, flown, to forbid. Forbade or forbade and forbid or forbidden, to forget. Forgot, forgotten, to freeze. Froze, frozen, to get. Got, gotten or got, to give. Gave, given, to go. Went, gone, to grow. Grew, grown, to hang. Hung, hung, to have. Had, had, to hear. Heard, heard, to hide. Hid, hidden, to hit. Hit, hit, to hold. Held, held, to hurt. Hurt and hurt again, to keep. Kept, kept, to kneel. Kneeled or knelt with a T, and again kneeled or knelt with a T, to know. Knew, known, to lay. Laid, laid, to lead. Led, led, to lean. Leaned or leant and leaned or leant again, to leap. Leaped or leapt and leaped or leapt again, to learn. Learned or learned with a T, and again learned or learned with a T. Leave. Left, left, lend. Lent, lent, let. Let, lie. Lay, lane, to light. Lit or lighted, and again lit or lighted, to lose. Lost, lost, to make. Made, made, to mean. meant, to meet. Met and met again, to mow. Mowed and mown, to pay. Paid and paid, to plead. Pleaded or pled and pleaded or pled again, to prove. Proved, proven and proved, to put. Put and put again, to quit. Quit and quit once again, to read. Read and read, to ride. Rode and ridden, to ring. Rang and rung, to rise. Rose and risen, to run. Ran and run, to say. Said and said, to see. Saw and seen, to seek. Sought and sought, to sell. Sold and sold, to send. Send and send, to set. Set and set, to shake. Shook and shaken, to shave. Shaved and shaven, to shed. Shed and shed, to shine. Shined or shone and shined or shone again, to shoot. Shot and shot again, to shut. Shut and shut, to show. Showed and shown, to shrink. Shrank and shrunk, to sing. Sang and sung, to sink. Sank and sunk, to sit. Sat and sat, to sleep. Slept and slept, to slide. Slid and slid again, to sling. Slung and slung, to slink. Slunk and slunk again. What about to slit? Slit and slit again, to smell. Smelled or smelled with a T, and smelled or smelled with a T. What about to speak? Spoke, spoken, to spell. Spelled or spelled with a T, and spelled or spelled with a T again, to spend. Spent and spent again, to spill. Spilled or spilled and spilled or spilled again, to spin. Spun and spun, to spit. Spit or spat and spit or spat again, to split. Split and split, to spoil. Spoiled or spoiled and spoiled or spoiled with a T again, to spread. Spread and spread, to spring. Sprang and sprung, to stand. Stood and stood again, to steal. Stole and stolen, to stick. Stuck and stuck, to sting. Stung and stung, to stink. Stank and stunk, to stride. Strode and stridden, to string. Strung and strung, to strive. Strove and striven, to swear. Swore and sworn, to sweat. Sweat or sweated and sweat or sweated again, to swell. Swelled and swollen, to swim. Swam and swum, to take. Took and taken, to teach. Taught and taught again, to tear. Tore and torn, to tell. told and told, to think. Thought and thought, to throw. Threw and thrown, to thrust. Thrust and thrust again, to tread. Trod and trodden, to understand. Understood and understood again, to wake. Woke, woken, to wear. Wore and worn, to weave. Wove and woven, to wed. Wed or wedded and wed or wedded again, to weep. Wept and wept, to wet. Wet or wetted and wet or wetted again, to win. Won and won, to wind. Wound and wound, to ring. Rung and rung, to write. Wrote and written. Alright, congratulations, you made it. Now, if you're still unclear with anything, if any of the words are not clear, please let me know in the comments. And like I previously said, you can watch this course several times. You can watch different parts several times, over and over again. Repeat the words after me and learn them that way. Now, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. If you want to download the PDF, all the links are in the description. Like I said, a small donation would be much appreciated because this is a lot of work that I put in here. And that's it for today. Until next time, see you then.